Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, in association with CNBC-TV18, recently organized the CA Business Leaders 40 Under 40 Awards in New Delhi to recognize and honor the exemplary contributions of young outstanding CAs who have demonstrated excellence as CA professionals. To celebrate the achievements of these young dynamic achievers, a virtual town hall was conducted to bring the winners together, along with the key ICAI representatives, to discuss India's growth plan through business practices and policies to become a true global leader.
So welcome to the virtual town hall of ICAI presents CA Business Leaders 40 Under 40 Awards. Let's start with you, Mr. Durgesh Kabra, who's the chairman, CM, IB, ICAI first. The ICAI Awards recognize the best from the industry, and these are the people who have shown true leadership in achieving tremendous success. So, looking at such a pool of talent, that too among such a young age group, how do you see the progress of country, as human resource is at the core of this country's growth? Also, how important is it to have events like this for recognizing such talents and also giving them a platform to voice their opinion?
Thank you, Radhika. It's indeed a pleasure for us to join the hands with the CNBC with respect to the 40 Under 40 Awards. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has initiated these awards way back in the year 2007 to recognize the members who have demonstrated excellence, portrayed an abiding commitment to achieve heights as CA professional in industry and as entrepreneur. These awards seek to honor an individuals who possesses excellent skills, dedication, enthusiasm, leadership, and deliver the best that we all endeavor to emulate. Yes, we have two kind of awards, that is 40 Under 40 Awards. We have started this year with CNBC, and we proudly say that in this 40 Under 40 Award, the best young talent of the chartered accountancy professions have been awarded for their excellence in the leadership at their companies or their enterprise. The other category of award is known as the ICAI Award, where we consider large and medium organizations, and there we award the leaders like CEO, CFO, and entrepreneurs. The ICAI Award is a great initiative that recognizes these kind of individuals who have achieved tremendous success and showed true leadership. ICAI Award provides a unique opportunity to recognize and celebrate the best from the industry and motivate others to strive for the excellence.
Absolutely agree with you, sir. A great initiative by you guys. Now, Mr. Ranjit, I would like to get your thoughts on the recent strategies, policy reforms made by the government, and also, of course, on the budget 2023-24, also where one can clearly see government's push for a $5 trillion economy. So your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much. As you might be aware that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is the only professional body in this country which thinks that the growth of the profession depends on the growth of the country, and it's a vice versa. So that's why our late President of India has termed ICAI member as a partner in nation building. So the way the institute is working for the growth of the economy, the growth of the corporate house, the growth of the various segment of this country, it's unparalleled. And that's why this $5 trillion landmark, which the government thinks to be achieved in the years to come. Already we are in $3.5 trillion economy, and the kind of initiative this government has taken, I will give you three examples. We are importing on three primary sectors like oil, pharma, and defense. And this government has taken the initiative that how to be self-dependent on these three sectors, oil, pharma, and defense. So this will give a boost to the economy, which can perceive in the $5 trillion economy, and the kind of capex, the capital expenditure, which the target has been set to be invested in this country in next 5 to 10 years. It's also a roadmap to achieve the $5 trillion economy. And one very, very important aspects of this $5 trillion economy, which I perceive, that India is the young population. We have average age in India is 29 years. China has 37 years, and Japan has 48 years. So these young populations are contributing in the digital transaction which is happening across the globe. Young population, Indian populations are accounting for more than 40%. So when these young populations are adaptable and so much of digital transaction they are taking place, and if the global transaction, the India is contributing so much as far as number is concerned, and the kind of monetary policy, fiscal policy this government has taken in terms of the capex, in terms of MSME sector, in terms of the JAM, Jan-Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, financial inclusion, and the financial literacy, the so much of initiatives are taken by this government. I am hopeful that this target of $5 trillion economy is quite achievable with the hard work, and the persistence effort of the uniform policy. Here, if you see this budget of last 7 to 8 years, the budget are not disconnected. Year after year, all the budgets are connecting the dots year to year. So if the policy is consistent, the stable government is there, young population is there, growth is there, but just controlling the inflation and this employment. Because I feel that if the youth of this country are given a jobs, they are not unemployed, then this 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 15 trillion is quite achievable in the years to come, in the given situation that India has today.
Absolutely, sir. Consistent policies, stable government, and of course, young generation. Now, let me bring in the president of ICAI, Mr. Aniket Sunil Talati. Question for you, sir. Do you think India will continue its growth trajectory? How soon do you think it will reach $5 trillion?
I think in terms of the second half of your question, that the Indian economy touching $5 trillion, I think we are well on our way. The last year, the year gone by of March 23, we've seen $750 billion of export. That includes merchandise export and service export. And the way we look at it, the service exports are growing exponentially. And the country has set itself a target of crossing 1 trillion in terms of export very soon. I think looking at just those numbers and also the direct and indirect tax collections, which have in certain aspects beaten the revised budget estimates also. I think we are on the springboard. The fundamentals are set. The growth is already being seen in so many areas, in so many domains. And I would personally feel that the next couple of years, so March 25 or latest by March 26, India should hit the $5 trillion economy. In terms of the growth trajectory, I think the numbers speak for themselves. The country is well on its way to take great strides in the fields of technology, innovation, infrastructure, and also providing the basic facilities to our citizens in terms of education and healthcare. I think a lot of investment and improvements are happening on those sectors. The FDI numbers also, if you look at them, they're growing year on year. There is so much more interest by so many more companies and from different countries who want to invest in India. We've also seen the trade agreements which India has been negotiating. They have been revised, and there's a lot of active interest that so many countries are showing. South Korea, Japan, the European Union, the Australia one, and now of course there are talks of the UK and Canada trade agreement along with the US getting revisited. So I think all in all, with the growing numbers, the growth trajectory, I think the fundamentals are here. The demand is always there. We've always been the most populous nation or the second most populous nation, and in the year gone by, we became the #1 country in terms of population. The market is there, the companies are there, and not just merchandise and goods, but also services are taking and seeing a huge uptick. So I would definitely say a big yes to both your questions. The country is on its growth trajectory, and 5 trillions, if all things go well, by March 25, or latest by March 26. Latest by March 26.
Of course, and you forgot to mention we have this great, talented bunch here, young people here who are there to make this happen.
Absolutely. So this is the future. They are the people who are going to make sure that the country leaps forward into this 5 trillion economy. I congratulate all these 40 young chartered accountants who've not only achieved for themselves, but I think they've also set, in some ways, a benchmark for others to achieve, and they've also been an inspiration for the newer chartered accountants. We have close to 25,000 chartered accountants qualifying every year. And I think they will have role models to look up to. And that's why we created this 40 under 40 to have young role models for our young membership. India is a young country and for them to look up to. So my compliments, congratulations to all of them. Keep inspiring, and let's have much more competition in the years forward so that we have many more leaders under 40 who are truly doing their best, not just for the profession, not just in the roles that they are heading, but taking India forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aniket, for your best wishes. And before we wrap up this discussion, let me bring in CA Rohit here. Rohit, my question to you is, we would like to know your viewpoint on how Indian businesses are moving beyond national boundaries. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you, Radhika. It's a good question to answer. In recent years, Indian businesses have established themselves in various countries across the globe, with a particular focus on US, UK and other parts of Europe, the Middle East and Southeast Africa. These businesses are involved in a range of activities including manufacturing, services, retail and IT outsourcing. Indian companies have also established joint ventures, partnerships and strategic alliances with leading companies in these countries. In 2021, the Indian conglomerate Reliance Industries acquired a 66% stake in the US-based technology company Skytran. The acquisition provides Reliance with access to Skytran's portfolio of advanced transportation technologies and systems. Thank you.
Following the discussion with ICAI senior representatives, some of the awardees were invited to join the discussion in batches to share their views on strategies and ways to make India a $5 trillion economy.
So as you know, we've gathered here this evening to have your viewpoints on India's growth plan and the various indicators that suggest an impending growth curve. So how can we leverage that opportunity that India is presented with through business practices and policies to become a true global leader on strategies and ways to make India a USD 5 trillion economy? We will also discuss India's plan for an impending growth curve and how we can leverage the opportunity that India is presented with through business practices and policies to become a true leader. So, today we'd like to know your thoughts on one by one, and let's start then.
Yeah, I am Vibhav Goyal. I am working with Axis Finance as a senior vice president. And as vice president sir said, that India's young population is the biggest asset actually that we have in today's time. It's a young population. We have the world biggest population, the largest human resource in the particular area. So in a path to become a 5 trillion economy over a period of 3 to 4 years time, we are very, very well poised into that particular thing. And we need to make right policies, right strategies to achieve that target in the soonest possible time. In the world now, nobody is questioning India taking a leapfrog from here. The question is only that how fast we can achieve this, whether it's a 4-year period, 3-year period, or a 5-year period.
We really need to leverage the talent and the workforce that we have in India. Services is a growing space. It actually contributes to almost 50% plus of the GDP. And I think the challenge for all of us is, how do we boost and prioritize the services sector so as to reroute some of the talent and the workforce that we have from agriculture to services. Of course, it is very well backed up by some of the incentive schemes like the PLI and the NLP that anyway give a boost to the manufacturing sector as well. We spoke about the role that policy makers and chartered accountants can play, and we spoke about the role that CAs and the economy play, right? They really go hand in hand. And I believe our task to drive the India growth story will only magnify in the years to come. And maybe I'll share a couple of examples from there, right? We spoke about the investment that the government would be making, but it would equally need to be backed by private investment. Now, our role as CAs, for example, would be critical as we assess, balance sheets of organizations to make sure they can repay loans on time, for example, right? And hence, in turn, fuel a virtuous cycle of funding and growth, if I may call it so.
When it comes to the aspirational $5 trillion, I think we all as a country need to work towards it, right? Now, when we talk sector by sector, the major one I believe is infrastructure, because when infrastructure moves, 100 other sectors along with it move. So it's very important to develop infrastructures, and in that sense, NIP and the Gati Shakti Yojana are a big one right now. Also, IT did something fantastic for our country in the last decade. I believe this decade, pharma has the potential to sort of replicate that, be it manufacturing, pharma services, medical tourism. I think pharma is big one right now. Also, it is very important to create digitally inclusive and digitally pervasive environments to keep pace with the rest of the world. I must also add that we must strive to be a nation which is sort of known for environmentally inclusive, sustainable sort of environments.
Looking at income tax rate reductions can be a big stimulus towards making the country attractive, not just for global talent, but also for foreign investment. The contribution of income taxes in India is about 2.5% of the GDP, with maybe about 2 to 3% of the Indians paying income taxes. Now, reducing the personal rates of taxation may cause a fiscal burden. Having said that, a part of this revenue shortfall can be recovered from higher indirect taxes because demand would get a boost from increased disposable income.
It's a matter of time that we become that mammoth that China has become today. From $3.5 trillion in 2007 to $17.5 trillion today. They have risen by about 5 times. So even when we underperform China, we are certainly to become $15 trillion in 15 years' time. So it's not about the time, it's not about the money, it's more so about how. China grew big because of manufacturing push, because of exports. We as economy moved right from primary sector to tertiary sector without giving much importance to the secondary sector, which is manufacturing. And that is where our government and even businesses should really focus upon.
Thank you for having me here. I'm Himani Thamich. I'm working with the government. So very nice to hear what everybody has to say about how the government policies should be. So the only takeaway I would like to thank you here with ICAI, that they have recognized that CAs are also in the government setup and they are doing their bit. They are collecting all the data from the peer review and sending it to the government in the form of your reviews and implementing wherever it is possible. So as far as government is concerned, they are doing their bit, but there is always a scope for improvisation and improvement.
Small parts, when you aggregate, can become even bigger. And that is where you need to talk about SMEs and MSMEs, how they are trying to unlock their productivity. We talk about MSME 2.0. And this is where the journey can be really useful, where we can focus on very focused approach we can have on certain things, like increasing not only the clarity on which are the areas where we are keeping our capital flow, making sure that digital
India initiative, local and vocal for local, the slogan that we say, right, is really achieved. We need to ensure that whatever payment that we do digitally and the income that we earn digitally and expenses that we do digitally, we can have lower tax on that. So everything will be clear. People are more encouraged to do digital transaction. Not only that, by doing that, you are reducing the work that you are supposed to do to file your taxations, and it can unlock more productivity for MSMEs and others.
Sir, you've been hearing what a talented bunch of CAs had to say about the $5 trillion economy dream. So, and how they are also tirelessly contributing to it. So, what do you have to say about that? Your closing comment.
Thank you, Radhika. Throughout the session, I was here and I was listening to all the young chartered accountants who have contributed to their various organizations. And I heard that how these young chartered accountants are playing role in their organizations to take the economy further. Towards the 5 trillion economy, if we just think of, what I feel is I agree completely with these people who have spoken. One is ease of doing business, very rightly said by one of the colleague over here. Then the spending on infrastructure, that is again very important, and that too, it has to be on the fast pace. If it is not on the fast pace, I think the way we want to achieve the 5 trillion economy would be difficult. And the third thing which I really feel is the research, and that too, research and innovation, that too in the field, which are very important, or maybe healthcare sector or pharma sector also, because there are the patents, and even in the food sector also. So these are the various things. If the country starts spending on the research and innovations in all these, and I would, as well as technology, we would be having the 5 trillion economy. And some of the industrialists of our country has said that yes, when we will be going to complete the 100 years and we will be celebrating Shatabdi of Azadi, at that point of time, probably this country will have 30+ trillion economy, and which will create ample opportunities for all Indians.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of ICAI Presents CA Business Leaders Awards 40 Under 40 Virtual Town Hall in association with CNBC-TV18. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us today from different parts of the country. Thank you and have a great evening.